hot cross buns. Hi, I'm Anupa and I welcome you to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. I am here with a new series and this is especially for kids. Yes, all my recipes henceforth are going to be for kids so that kids at home are going to be very happy, and mind you, these recipes are going to be very interesting. They're going to be quick and something that everybody, but the kids especially at home, are going to love it. So let's see what we're going to do today. Today we are going to make hot cross buns. Yes, you remember the nursery rhyme? Hot cross buns. Exactly, that is what I am going to do today. It's a simple recipe but it looks so pretty that you can make it on any other day. So, how do we make hot cross buns? Let's quickly see the ingredients. Refined flour, fresh yeast, sugar, salt, tutti frutti, butter, warm milk and sugar to glaze. Okay, so ingredients are simple, aren't they? So, all these ingredients are always found in any normal household. So, what we have to do is just gather everything, but very important thing here is first that you have to measure them perfectly. Whatever is the quantity mentioned in your recipe, make sure you follow it to the T. Please do not do any changes to the measures mentioned in your recipe. And second important thing is to preheat your oven. Oven has to be preheated to about 180 degrees Celsius or whatever that is mentioned in your specific recipe, because baking is all about precision. So, my oven is getting preheated, my ingredients are ready. The best thing to do with bread is to work on a tabletop. In case if you don't want to get your hands messy, then in that case you can use a food processor with the kneading attachment and you can use or make the dough in the food processor. But I personally believe that the best dough is made with your own hands. So, we are going to use the tabletop. So, here I have refined flour, but one more most important thing here is that I have got some fresh yeast, if you can see. Now, fresh yeast activates best when you mix it with sugar and warm milk or warm water. So, we will mix sugar in this and let's add in some warm milk. While we were studying in college, we were taught that sugar is the food of yeast. So, whenever you have to activate yeast for any recipe, it is always said that you add some sugar and any warm liquid. It could be water, it could be milk, and you will see that this yeast starts proving. You will find this small air bubbles on top or on the surface of this liquid, that the yeast has started getting activated. If you have the time, you wait for about 5 minutes for the yeast to start activating, or like me, if you are very impatient to make this bread right away, I am going to just pop in all of the yeast into this. But before that, to make a well here, the milk that I have with me is measured, it is warm, because warm milk is best used to make this recipe. I am going to add in the yeast. Okay. Now, you have to work with your hands have to be clean, tabletop has to be clean, and that is it. Start making a dough, add milk little by little, incorporate all the refined flour into the milk, and once that is done, we have to knead the dough. Why are bread so soft is basically because the dough is given a good knead. Whenever you make doughs at home, whether it is for plain roti or a bread like that, you have to knead the dough. It is very essential. So, here you go. I have added in the milk, I am going to add in some more. If you find, like I said, this job messy, please go ahead and use your food processor with the dough attachment. But after a while, you will eventually have to knead the dough on the tabletop. You will see why. First, let us first get everything together. Initially, the dough may get a little sticky, but that is okay. Right now, I am just using one hand, but after which I will have to use all my strength, both my hands, all my energy to make this bread. The more the energy or more the efforts you put into this bread, you will be so happy with the end product that you will end up making hot cross buns almost on every second day. So, you see the dough is formed, but I still have some milk left with me. I am going to add this to it, but initially I will just get all the loose flour into this dough, mix this in properly, get everything together, make sure your tabletop is as clean as it was much before you even started, and now is the real exercise. You have to knead this dough like this. Right now, since the gluten in this dough is not well activated, when you stretch the dough, it will break like this. So, this is not how it should be, for which we will need to add in some more milk. So, here you go, add little by little, the required quantity of milk has to go in. Now, we will add in some more milk. Don't worry, refined flour can take in a lot of moisture. Initially the hands go a little sticky like this, but eventually the dough comes out really soft. Some more milk. In case kids at home are getting impatient, you can make them sing the nursery rhyme. And if you actually remember the nursery rhyme, it says 1 penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Who would now get you a hot cross bun for 1 penny? I really doubt. But anyways, that's the nursery rhyme. Let the kids enjoy that, and you can just make these buns for them. Okay, the dough is almost getting there, and I have my last part of the milk. Okay, so the milk is done. Now all I have to do is just mix this in. It's going to get even more sticky now, but it's all about kneading. The more you knead, the better stretchability the dough gets. Okay, like this. Just keep on mixing, keep on kneading. Now while you knead the dough, you will realize that it has gone really soft and it's almost there. See, it's stretching well. So the dough is done, it's nice and soft. Now all you have to do is form this into a ball like this. We will take a baking tray and we let this rise. Cover it with a bowl. Basically, we have to let this in a warm place. For the yeast to get activated, you will automatically realize that the dough has doubled in volume, which means there is a lot of air which has got incorporated in the dough. And we have to let this like this, or we have to set this dough like this for at least about 20 to 25 minutes minimum in a warm place. In case the weather is quite cold, you will have to leave this inside a microwave in a switch off mode, obviously, because it's quite dark there, it's quite warm there. After about 25 to 30 minutes, you will realize that this dough has become like really big. It's doubled up in volume, it's got really soft, and then we will knock back the dough and then we will make them into buns. But as of now, we need to rest this for about 30 minutes. Okay, so the dough did rest for quite some time, and you see it's proven well. We just have to knock this out of this bowl first and knock it like this. So we have basically knocked the dough so that we can now put in butter and some tutti frutti in this, but prior to that we have to make a glaze, which means we need to take some sugar, put in some water, that's it, and make a thick sugar syrup. So this will happen in the meanwhile. Let's take the butter. This is quite a rich dough. We need to put some salt. Salt is generally added to any dough which has yeast towards the end for a simple reason that it restricts the yeast from overreacting. So in case if your bread dough is like going to be proving quite a bit, it is the salt which actually slows down the yeast, because we know how much the yeast has reacted right now without salt. It should not overprove at the same time, so you add in salt. After you put in the butter, we need to knead this once again, and tutti frutti is something that we will add in after we have incorporated the butter. Okay, so I love doing this. This is such a stress buster. The days when you are really feeling low, I think you should make a bread, because whatever anger, anguish that you have in you, you can get it out on the dough. In the bargain, actually what will happen is that you will end up having a perfect dough to make a perfect bread. So, of course, I am not stressed right now, but that is what I feel anyways. So, now again the same way as you were kneading the earlier dough, you have to knead this as well. Right now it is looking quite messy, but the more you knead, softer the dough is going to be. You see, whatever mess that we had created a minute ago is no longer there. So, all the butter has gone into the dough. Now, we need to add in the tutti frutti. The dough is stretching so well. Our hot cross buns are going to be yummy. And of course, they have a good shelf life. They stay well for about 3-4 days. But I am sure if they are made really well, it won't even stay for 3-4 hours. The minute it is out of the oven, it's going to be in your tummy and it's going to be over. You will have demands to make it all over again. For all you know, if you are making this in the morning, evening you may have to make another batch of dough. Now, just make some place like this. Take some tutti frutti. This is if you like it, but yes, hot cross buns do take in this. So, we are adding in. I am not adding quite a bit, just a little bit. By the time the dough proofs again, goes into the oven, our sugar syrup would also be ready, cool down. Now, let us divide this dough. So, actually hot cross are big buns, so let us make them big. So, now the best thing or the right thing to do is to make sure that you make this perfect round. So, just keep on doing it on your palm like this, just to make sure with your thumb you are leveling this like this, so that you get this perfect round. Although since this has a bit of tutti frutti, you will not get a nice rounded or a clean look, but nevertheless whatever that we do, we need to do it with perfection. The sugar syrup has simmered well. I am going to switch this off. You see this? The sugar is all dissolved. We just need little bit for us to glaze the hot cross buns once they are out of the oven. But the hot cross bun has a cross on top. So, how do you make the cross? I will show you. First, let us shape them well. So, now our buns are done. Now, we need to make the cross. So, let us take some of the dough. In this, we do not have the tutti frutti. Just there are two ways you can do it. Either you can give a crisscross cut on the bread like this. So, when you do that, you take one part and take one part and give it another cross here. So, here we have the cross on the bun. Let us take some more dough. This is how we do it. There are some hot cross buns in which after you give a crisscross, there is a batter that they put into the cross and that is what goes into the oven. So, there are two ways to do it. This is the simplest and the easiest way, and this is what I think we can follow it if we were to do it at home. So, these buns have again proofed. We will put them on a baking tray. Just handle them very, very delicately. Make sure that the air which has got incorporated does not escape. So, very delicately put them on a baking tray. Okay, so now this goes in the oven and it will take about 25 to 30 minutes for us to bake, after which we will have a nice glaze on top. We will brush some sugar syrup which we had made, and that is it. Hot cross buns would be ready. So, right now let us put this in. So, our hot cross bun is done. The buns are done. We are glazing them with the sugar syrup that we had made. There are some cracks on top, but that's okay. In case if you feel you want to give it some more color, you can even bake it for another 5 more minutes. But if you see the bread, once you press it on the side, it bounces back. You see this? If this was raw, this would have created a cavity. But you see this? It comes back to its original shape, which means it's done, and also the base has this nice golden color. So which means the bread is done. Let's put some glaze on this, and what we'll do is we'll just bake this for 5 more minutes, and then you can serve your hot cross buns. Let's put this in for 5 more minutes. So here you go, hot cross buns straight out of the oven for your kids. Give them nice and hot, and I'm sure they are going to love it. They can also take it in their tiffin box, they can have it with their glass of milk. The list is endless. Do let me know which other recipes you want me to show you, and I'll be more than happy to make it for you. So right now, enjoy hot cross buns.